Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to first start talking about, I actually want to start asking questions. So I'm just going to ask a series of questions, but you don't have to answer. But I want you to get to thinking about what we're going to talk about. So the first, if you've heard this, a leopard can't change their spots. If you want to get anywhere in life, your head down, you focus, and you go. That's common. If you can't play the game, then have a look. Let's see, some of my other favorite ones. Comments of, they're just that way, they're too old to change. That's my least favorite. And if you're smart, you have an easy pass. Another one I've heard. So all of these questions or statements have one thing in common, that they're very polarizing ideas. They actually will stunt a person's growth, because putting your head down and driving forward does not successful. A lot of times it makes you invited to a lot of team meetings. Not being able to be adaptable and change, never a good quality. So today I'm going to talk about 3 qualities that a person named Patrick, I'm going to mess up the last name, but Lissoni, I think is how we say his last name. He actually created what's called the ideal team player. And what's beautiful about this is everybody from grade school to end of age can learn something from these 3 really important virtues. And they also follow a lot of what Scripture says about good character, Christ-like. So I'm going to start off with a story. So we're going to pretend we have 3 people. We have Bob, we have Kate, and Joe. So Bob, they all work in the same team. They all work in the same department, but they all have their different jobs. Now, Bob is the kind of individual that he is smart, but he sometimes doesn't really get people. And a lot of times he makes mistakes because he can't read people very well. And therefore, he doesn't engage in a way that might be more beneficial to him. He can get the job done, but he doesn't have a lot of common sense. Therefore, we're going to have a lot of errors. Okay, then we have Kate. Kate is somebody that is pleasant. She doesn't rock the boat. She doesn't take a lot of risks. If you ask her to do something, she'll do it, but she's more of your laid back. She doesn't want a lot of attention drawn to herself. A lot of people would say this is a great person to have because they're not going to ruffle feathers. And then you have Joan. Joan is somebody that we would probably consider rough around the edges. Joan knows exactly what she wants, and when she gets an idea, there is no stopping her. She's going to go. She is going to be very hard to reason with. She is her ideas, and if your ideas don't match her ideas, she really doesn't have time for you. Yeah, I can see some of you already.
She's just recognizing some things.
So today I'm going to talk to you about the hierarchy theme of these 3 virtues. 3 virtues that Patrick Lissoni came up with was humble, hungry, and smart. These are the 3 characteristics that make effective change, not just in ourselves, but in any team that you have. And you may say, I'm not a part of a team, but in actuality, you are. Right here, you're in a small Bible study. That's a team. You're leaders to your family. You're leaders in your departments. You're leaders in your church and your community groups. So all of these 3 attributes are something that we really should be striving for. And so he's made it his life work to change what was dysfunctional in a team and now functional in a team, because basically he had his own company and was losing employees and couldn't figure out how to hire the right person. So him and his team took, I think, 6 months and just dove into what is the kind of person that we want here. And you can read that in this book, Ideal Team Player. It's a really good book. So, talking about humble, and we'll go over this chart in just a minute. But we're going to look at Bob. Okay, let's just take our people out of our story. So we have Bob. Bob is the one that he's smart. He pays attention to detail, but he doesn't have a lot of common sense. He doesn't know how to ask the right questions. He doesn't engage. He just kind of is the Raymond sort of sense, only with more ability to socialize. So, good person to have on your team, possibly, maybe, gets the job done. Is that what we want? Okay. And then we have Kate. Kate is the person that, well, actually, let me back up. I'm sorry. So, nice thing also about Bob. Oh, let me back up. Bob, yes, he's smart. He doesn't have a lot of common sense. He doesn't read people well, but he gets along with everybody.
Okay.
Sorry, I almost missed that part. So we're going to call Bob the charmer. Okay, that's your politician, in a sense. That's your chameleon, not somebody that is flexible, but somebody that adapts and changes so that you'll like them to have personal gain for themselves, not for everybody as a group.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have Kate. Our Kate is pleasant. She's not a risk taker. She's just kind of there to do her job. How Kate is he would call her a pawn. Somebody that has one virtue is pawn. They have to be told what to do all the time. They don't have motivation. They don't have the drive. They're not going to be the first one in, last one out, because if their job is done, their job is done. You often hear people that are at work say, well, that's not in my job title. That's not in my job description. Those are pawns. They have no desire to do or move. Okay, and then you have Bob. Well, Bob. Or I'm sorry, not Bob. I changed Bob's name to Joan. Joan reminds me of somebody at work. Joan is somebody that we call the bulldozer. Tough as nails. I'm thinking of the woman that I worked with. Her name is not Joan, by the way, so please do not. Tough as nails. Good at her job, but scary. Doesn't just plows over. She has anything that she thinks is good to add to whatever team meeting we have. If everything else is no, 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 her ideas are yes, yes, yes. And there's no changing her mind. That's a bulldozer. Also, the bad thing about a bulldozer is they will step on everybody to make sure they can get where they can get, and they don't care about you. So they're going to step on. Now, here's the danger, though. A charmer, your politician, many managers don't realize they have a charmer until it's too late because they're very, very good at doing two things. Having humility. Oh, that's right for now. Okay. Humility and hunger. So right about here. They're very good at pretending they're humble, but a manager usually sees after they've made it up to the top, and like Padgett was something to say, when they made 3 times the amount of what you're making, and then you see the weight behind them. Because they're a charmer. They're very good at getting people that they are the guy or the girl, and they're humble at the same time. Believe it or not. So above here that I forgot to write is we have smart, and we have humble, and we have hungry. So if you're a charmer, you only care about yourself. If you're a pawn, you're lazy, you always have to be told what to do. If you're a bulldozer, you don't have to. In between, which a lot of us are a little bit of two, you have the lovable slacker. That's the person that everybody likes. Truly. They get along with everybody. But they're a minimalist. They are still going to do just the bare minimum. You have to constantly motivate them to keep going. Much like an adult teenager. That's your level of fun. And then over here, your charm in between a charmer and a bulldozer. So in between someone that's smart and hungry, you have more skillful politician that we talked about. They want to get up ahead, but they're going to step on toes there. And then down here, which is the most common acceptance of managers that want this in a person, is your accidental mess maker. That's your person that's a little bit of a pawn and a little bit of bulldozer, which basically means the humble and hungry. But they make messes everywhere they go. But the important thing with that is they're teachable. So Patrick Feliconi got together with his team. They said, what are the three things that we need to have? Hunger, humility, and smarts. What does that look like? Humility, which is the one that surprised me the most, is the one that we think of here, right? God says, be meek. Care about others before you care about yourself. Problem is, workforce, a lot of times, or any course really, people think, well, they mistake insecurity with humility. So thinking of yourself less, putting others forward is great. Avoiding getting yourself out there or being part of a team because you're afraid, that's not humility, that's insecurity. But a lot of times people will say, oh, they're just humble and quiet. They're not, they're insecure. Hungry are those people that we said want to be ambitious, we want to get out there, we want to try to do things for nothing. And then smarts is the other one that surprised me when I learned about this. It was not about intellect at all. It was about common sense. And that one I find really hard because I work with a wide variety of age brackets. I work with students and children. And you will find this is the one that has the widest gamut, which I just like get. High intellect cannot read a room at all. It has a hard time engaging with people because they can't read those boundaries. So what's neat about reading his book, The Ideal Team Player, and learning about these, and I have an assessment that I pass out to everybody, is that you will learn where you live purpose. And the good thing about it is that you can gain experience, you can gain knowledge, and grow to become more of all three. Because what we really want to be is all three. We want to be people that are humble, of course. We want to be as we care about them as godlike as possible. And then we want to be hungry. We don't want to stop living just because we might have retired or we might not be able to work because of circumstances. Being hungry means get to learn more about all of those things about who you can be, where we're at, so that we can make more. And then, of course, smarts. This group has abundance amount of common sense, but yeah. So those are the three things, and but yeah. So my encouragement to you is I'm going to pass out these assessments. Try it. Take it home to your family. The discussion. Find out where you are. You possibly could be an accidental nesting. Or to your surprise, a lovable slacker. And your husband or significant other or child is in a question to discuss this. Okay. But yeah, this was just a really great way to just basically take a self-assessment and say, where am I? What kind of a team player am I in every aspect, in my home, my workplace, in my city? So yeah, thanks you guys. Appreciate your time. Hopefully, that'll be the new one.